Hi folks, want to make a quick video about how to get started on this video editing process. So I'm going to navigate to my podcast file, which is on the journalism server. So I'm in newspaper, my file, podcast, and I've got a copy of an interview right here that you can see that I did with Sarah and Lauren. So I'm going to pull this into here, and I just bring it into my Adobe Audition. All I have to do is click and drag. It will load up, and then I can double click here, and let's take a listen. There we go. And you can see I've got my audio file in here. You can kind of see the waveform here. And we're listening to it, and it's doing okay. There's some things that I'm going to do to it first to update this. So first thing I want to do is it's a little bit quiet. As I'm playing, it's pretty close. I want it to generally be between 6 and -3. And it's just a little bit below that. So I'm going to highlight everything, doing Control A. I'm going to go to Effects, Amplitude, and Compression. I'm going to amplify it just a little bit. So I'm going to pull this up a little bit, and I'm going to preview it. I think that's a little too much, so we're going to back it down. We're going to increase it by about 2.5 decibels. Cool. Now that's looking pretty good. Next thing I'm going to do is, with everything still selected, I'm going to do some mastering. So I'm going to go to Special, Mastering. And I'm just going to use one of the presets. I'm going to do Make Room for Vocals. So this is what it sounds like without my mastering. And here's with. Doesn't make a big difference, but it adjusts a little bit. And the last thing that you're going to notice, as I play this, you can hear a whole lot of sound of noise going on in the background. So just listen to the background for this. You can kind of hear that little fan in the background. So I'm going to cruise around. Oh, here we go. So I've got this big stretch of silence, or at least kind of silence. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to put on my little loop button, and I'm going to listen. Can you hear that? I want to get rid of that background fan noise. So with this section of the text or of my document selected, I'm going to right click, and we are going to capture noise print. Okay. And then I'm going to select the whole thing, Control A, and I'm going to go to noise reduction and reduce or noise reduction process. And I might have played around with this a little bit. So maybe add an anchor point. There we go. And I can listen to this. See the difference? That's great. All right, I'm liking that. All right, so I've got my audio mastered. It's about the noise level that I want. I've made some room for vocals. I've adjusted the noise print so it gets rid of that background fan noise. Now I'm ready to start cutting this up into my different interviews. So I'm going to make a new multi-track session. I'm going to make sure that I'm saving this into my journalism, newspaper, my folder. I'm going to put in my podcast. Let's name this session Podcast Practice. Sample rate 4800, 48,000, 16-bit rate. I'm going to master it in stereo. Sounds great. Now I've got my multi-track session. So I can take this interview and now click and drag it over here. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to listen to it. And I'm just going to start chopping it up into different tracks for my different speakers. So I just finished speaking. So I'm going to get my little razor blade tool, and I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to listen to Sarah. Boom. And I know that's where Lauren stops talking, so I'm going to cut there. And then I can drag her file into a totally another track. So that way I can edit these two separately. And I'm just going to go through the rest of my audio like that, splitting it up into different tracks of speaker and interviewer. All right. Good luck, folks.